Hello. So, as the introductory screen tells you, we're going to discuss something which probably would sound unbelievable, maybe even preposterous to many of you. But then take it from me, this exactly is going to be the future scenario. See what's happening around the world at this point of time. We are faced with a new contagion called COVID-19, and the world is running from pillar to post in search of drugs. We are trying some retroviral drugs, antiviral drugs. We tried an anti-malarial drug called hydroxychloroquine. We are even trying an antihelminthic drug, that is a drug against worms called ivermectin, with variable degrees of success, but no surety and not much hope. Now, if I tell you, if only we were ready with our deep learning applications to face this contagion, we would have conquered this much earlier. In fact, I'm going to tell you that the next pandemic, see, obviously you should expect the next pandemic after COVID. We have had series of pandemics. We have had SARS, MERS, Ebola, now COVID. Most of them from the corona family of viruses. And now God only knows what future has in stock for us. What is the next pandemic? But then if we use the capabilities of deep learning fully, we are ready for it, fully prepared. Would you believe me if I tell you, the world would be ready not only with the drug for the next affliction. See, this virus is called SARS-CoV-2. Let's say next one is SARS-CoV-3. If we are using deep learning capabilities fully, when SARS-CoV-3 or whatever other virus hits the world, we are ready not only with the drugs, we are even ready with the vaccines. What I told you right now is that even before the onset of an affliction, we are ready not only with the drugs, we are also ready with the vaccines. Sounds rather ludicrous, rather funny. But then at the end of the session, I promise you, you will be more than convinced. See, we're going to use deep learning capabilities. As you know, deep learning is the advanced form of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So if we are using it fully, we would be conquering the future contagion on three fronts. The first front is information. The second front, prevention and control. The third front is therapy or treatment. Let's check out some slides. Slides, please. Okay. See, you would have heard of an application by the government of India called Arogya Setu, which would tell you if you can input your whereabouts, your travel history, symptoms if any. It will tell you whether you are at risk. Good enough, not bad. It will also tell you the statewide figures of infection and death. It will tell you the nationwide figures. Okay, it's all fine. It's a basic application. But imagine a scenario where we are using deep learning for information on the pandemic. Imagine a scenario where you can check any place. Say, for example, I live in a suburb of Alua This panchayat is called Churnikkara. If we are using a deep learning data warehouse, I can check any day, any time, the number of infections, number of mortalities, number of primary transmissions, number of secondary transmissions, number of community transmissions. I can also check the growth rate of infection over the last few weeks, last few days, last few hours. I can check the growth rate or decline of mortality over the last few days, last few weeks. Or in other words, I could process the data on this pandemic the way I want. See, please note the difference between being able to access processed data. That is what we are able to do right now. Right now, what is happening? Some of these channels are telling us the total death rates. Number of deaths in the last day in US is this much, infection so much, different states of Kerala so much. These are actually processed data. You can output the result, you can access the result, which is processed by someone else. If you are using a deep learning database or data warehouse, much larger than a database, you could process the data the way you want. In other words, you could process it any which way. See, let's check out these few slides. Now, this first slide is about a place. Let's say this place is, say, Kochi. You want to find out the infection rate over the last few weeks. Now, you can generate a graph like this. This is, please note, this is a process that the deep learning data warehouse is doing for you, is doing the data mining for you and giving the output for you. It's not a pre-processed data. It's processing for you and giving you the output. Look at the next slide. You want to find out the mortality in the same place, let's say Kochi, over the last 4 weeks, last 10 days, whatever. The data mining process is triggered and you get the output that you want. Next slide. See, this is, you want to find out in Kochi, what is the percentage of primary transmissions in the total of infections in Kochi. Percentage of primary transmission is available. Moving on. You can get secondary transmissions as a percentage of infection, any place, any time. Next one. Maybe community transmission as a percentage of infection, any point of time, any period of time. Moving on. Mortality as percentage of infection, any point of time, any period of time, any place. Okay, so this, please note, when you use a data warehouse with deep learning capacity, you are triggering the process yourself. You are doing the data mining. The system is doing the data mining as per your request. You are not accessing pre-processed data. So this is one thing. So precise information, anytime, any place is available to you, number one. Number two, please come back. When it comes to prevention and control of this infection, with this kind of data, imagine the power you can put in place, control strategies for each location based on the changes in mortality, infection, etc. in each location at each point of time or each period of time. In other words, your prevention and control would be absolutely precise and absolutely focused. It will not be general for a whole location. So prevention control would be near perfect, not like this, where we have broad strategies for the entire zone. Now comes the stunning part, that is its role in therapy.